bro, I got finessed, I think so far one time, and I'm like, okay, now I
How'd they
gotta be
do
able
it?
to. They told me like, yeah, and that's what I say, fake it till you make it. Like they said like, yeah, I can do it, and then like months down the road, it's like, yeah, so like this is gonna be an issue, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
bro, I've mentioned this shit. Like I'm like, you said you can do it. Like,
And I didn't say shit, bro.
yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another week of Talking Trubbish. I'm your host, Matthew, and I'm here with my buddy, Jacob, as always. What is going on, buddy? Welcome to another week, man.
Bro, it's I feel like I say this every time, and I'm gonna be like a broken record with saying this. Like I feel like I record, blink, and I'm recording again, and I'm like,
Yeah, I do
did
it.
that week even happen? Like
Our buffer's gone because it's been busy, man. Like I feel that in a
yeah,
real way. Time moves differently as an adult, and I never understood that concept until now, really. Like how different it feels. Like I feel like as a kid or like a teenager, even like early 20s, you're still experiencing so much new shit that it just seems to take, like, time seems to be like a fucking eternity. And like now that I've like settled into like a job that I love, and I've been grinding that for years, it's like from 2020 till now, I feel like has been just like a bloop.
yeah. I mean, honestly, like it almost feels like yesterday when the whole COVID thing happened. Like, and now we're in 2026, 6 years later. In 4 years, it was a decade ago.
I'm catching myself when like I'm listening back to the pod of
Hmm.
us talking about time and everything, and I am hearing myself give dates in my head because I'm like, oh yeah, that's 10 years ago. And in my head when I'm talking to you, it seems like it's 10 years ago, but when I'm editing and I have time to think, I'm like, holy shit, that was 20 years ago. Like
Oh,
shit, like my time is not accurate because I'm in this like weird time construct mentality thing. So I'm like,
dude.
holy shit, like now when I'm actually like finding the real dates on shit, which is like 15 years, and shit, I'm like, I'm old as fuck right now.
Right? Dude, you don't even realize then you're like, oh shit, I'm like reaching 35 and like
Yeah.
in a couple years you're 40. And then for some reason doesn't I feel like I'm not gonna lie to you, it's gonna sound funny as fuck, but I feel like me kind of holding on to like, Pokemon and shit makes me like feel young. Uh
I'm gonna say this. Two things. One, I want to go on sort of like the feeling of young because I had a specific like example of this. The second one, the Pokemon thing. I like I think about like our interests and I'm like, what was like the equivalent to our parents? Because like I guarantee you, like there had to be some sort of like IP or thing that they like, but they just didn't have access to like the merchandise like industrial system that we have that just pumps out stuff.
dude, actually you're not wrong. I know I don't know if you've ever seen these videos. They're it's so funny because it kind of ties into like us being nerds and loving Pokemon and being 30 years old and having this like kid stuff in my background as a
Yeah.
30-year-old, and it's along the lines of like my parents were out here at the age of 20, 30, buying a house, doing this, having kids. Meanwhile, and then you see a picture of like the next person, and like, meanwhile, I'm here buying Pokemon cards and just like, organizing my binder type of shit. And I'm like, there's a huge like difference of like what your parents were doing at your age versus what you're doing at your age.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
mean, there's two things. One is like that could be like a whole like economic conversation. That's like
oh
I'm
yeah,
not. It's too early in the
so
morning
fun.
to have that conversation. The coffee hasn't quite kicked in yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the main point about the years thing that I was gonna have is the reason why I thought about this specifically like this week in particular is like I'm trying to like get sort of not my resume together, but I'm trying to sort of like launch my business and everything.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah.
trying to put down like how many years of experience I have. And I'm like, yeah, I have 20 years of video editing experience. And then I sit back and I'm like, I have 20 years of video editing experience. And I'm like, I was 15 when I sold my first video to like not like a commercial,
edit?
but I was commissioned to make like my first video and got paid for it. There was
Wow.
a neon sign maker in our town that did the neon signs for like this huge theater complex.
Mhm.
And he wanted like somebody to be able to like document the process of making a neon sign, or like he ended up making a clock.
Mhm.
And I shot like the whole thing. It was like a 10-minute behind the scenes. It's kind of like what sparked my behind the scenes interest in general,
Okay.
I guess, is like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
being
yeah, yeah.
exposed to like going into something obscure. Like I had no interest in neon signage
Of course, yeah.
since.
Mhm.
And I realize now how impactful like that moment was for me for this show in particular. And I'm going to explain and flesh this out a little more. But I shot and filmed that, and that was like my first professional like thing that I
Okay.
did. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm 35, turning 36 this year. It's been I have 20 years of professional like video editing experience. In terms of like editing, I was doing way before I was 15, but like
Like,
professional, like
yeah,
I
yeah,
made
like got
money and
paid.
sold shit and got paid
Get that
since
money.
15. Yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah.
The neon
Like,
sign though, so the clock that I tried finding the video,
oh
dude.
yeah.
I
He's like, let me
tried.
try to clip that.
Man, dude, I was gonna try to insert like I was gonna post it like on our social media and stuff if I could find it, but I couldn't, man. But the clock that the guy made in the video that I shot, he ended up giving me for like as part of the payment for making the video for him, and I still have the clock.
Oh
So
shit.
I'm not kidding. It has never turned off in probably over 15 years, easy.
Mhm. Oh
It's
wow.
still on.
That's
It's
insane.
Yep. Just
Oh.
still works, still on, still everything. I'll take a photo of it and I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the neon signage in particular is really impactful. For the thumbnails of our YouTube videos, there's a reason why I use a neon sign, and it's because of that.
That's
So like
crazy.
yeah,
Eh,
I like I just wanted to like give a little bit of a lore drop to it, but the age thing was something that I was like, that was 20 years ago. I was like, Jesus Christ. And I was 15. I felt old on top of the world at 15.
As you should. I mean, you got
As you
paid.
should.
That's crazy though. Like my man's out here grinding since he was 15 years old. That's awesome. Dude,
Yeah. And I still have imposter syndrome.
Bro, I don't
Like,
know
ain't that a
why.
bitch?
No, it definitely is a bitch. Dude, I don't know why I always in my head thought that we were both born in the same year, but you're a year older than me.
91?
Am I tripping? Yeah, you should
You
be
are,
turning.
dude, this is what I'm saying.
No,
It's
no.
the time thing.
I thought you said you're okay. So I thought I heard you say you're going on 36 this year.
We are going on 36 this year.
91. You're turning 35 this year.
Oh, motherfucker.
Bro, what is
So I've been lying this whole time. Oh, shit. Dude. Age, yeah, dude, age is a weird thing. Holy shit.
My man's out here. I'm looking at my date and I'm looking at the year and I'm like, 6 minus 1 is 5.
way.
I'm like, what?
So 35? Okay,
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
are
yeah.
going to turn 35 this year.
Yeah. I was like, wait, have you been lying to me this whole time?
I must have been lying, dude. Like, okay, I gotta change my resume now. Okay, 19 years.
No, but
19 years.
No, we just like lie about that. It's cool. I know a lot of people when I do interviews, I look at the resume. The resume tells me so much about people. It's crazy. It tells me, I don't know if you've ever done an interview yourself, but or I'm sure you've seen other resumes because other people do come to me like for help for resumes to do and stuff like that. But it tells me like if you actually put work into your resume versus when you don't, and I'm like, okay, you're lazy, and at least you can fake it or you're
Yeah.
good, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and so one of those things where like there's like these videos I see where like you're at work to work and not make friends type of thing, and I'm like I can tell like that resumes are like that. Some of the resumes are like that. You're there to work and that's it.
Yeah.
And then you can tell like the people that are there to like bullshit around and stuff like that. Anyways, point is like it's just like I've noticed this the other day, and it's like a random tangent here, but like I noticed this the other day where I'm like, holy crap, like I can tell so much based on what like how you write your emails, how you do like it's like it's crazy, and I hate that. I hate that I can like it's like so corporate, bro. It's like so corporate.
Uh-huh.
But no, it was just like a random thing that I noticed the other day because like I've been doing interviews lately, and I'm like, next, hell no, like
What's that process like for you doing that? Like, what are you looking for as somebody who's like sort of the first line of defense in the hiring process?
yeah. So for me, like I
Help our
like
listeners land a job, bro. Like,
right, yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of people you can kind of tell also when somebody use and it's funny. I notice this the more I use AI, the more I can tell somebody else uses AI.
I know, right?
And I'm like,
Yeah.
because I always tell this to people, and I'm like, use AI, and we've talked about this multiple times. So I'm like, I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record. Use AI as like a thing to help you write, and I use AI, and like it tells me like a paragraph, for example. I kind of like put my twist and stuff to it, so you can still tell like it's me writing it versus like
Yeah.
a robot, like or AI. Anyway, so I can tell, when someone is like someone that's like hungry, and I can be like, okay, I can potentially train this person. Even if I'm wrong, I'm like, okay, they have like based on the resume, it shows me like, okay, this person can potentially be trainable versus like somebody
Mhm.
like that's experienced that like I've hired people, not necessarily actually not me, but somebody else hired people where like their resume looks amazing and they came into the job like very like conceited, and I'm like, I don't need that shit, bro. I'd rather get somebody to train them up than get somebody
Yeah.
like that with that fucking attitude, right?
Right. Like, you don't
All
need
day long.
ego. You don't need anything.
No, that
Okay,
because
so let me
uh-huh.
let me ask a
Yeah.
scenario then. What would happen if like you're interviewing somebody, it looks great, and then like you find out that like their 20 years of video experience that they claimed they had ended up being like 19. like what would you do then? You know what I'm saying?
Fired.
Like, oh fuck, dude.
No. I mean, like those things. Like I know, bro. People lie all the time on their resume. They're like, yeah,
I know, but I don't want to. Like, I legitimately have gone like this entire week being like, I have 20 years of experience. Of course, I'm 35 years old right now.
my man forgot his own age. I'm like, unless
Dude,
if you're
okay,
right.
I'll say this. I give zero fucks about my birthday for some reason. I just don't care about it. It's just
Yeah.
never been important for me.
Yeah.
So I just don't pay attention to like myself. So that's why I forget. But anyway, back to, how to scam a recruiter to get a
Yeah,
job.
dude.
Don't be an
Unless
ego don't have an ego, you
do not
know.
have an ego. If you want to do it, fake it till you make it. Sure, fake your resume, fake your interview,
Yeah.
bro. I've gotten so many like nasty like when you're doing the interview. Please, for the love of God, act professional. Don't give like any like smart remarks. Like it's just like you'd be amazed that I'm actually saying this. But people come in and sometimes like okay, sometimes I'm wearing like a black polo. I mean, like a black t-shirt at an interview just because like I either forgot or whatever. But side note, I have glasses that make like for the
Of
screen.
course you
I did.
do.
So I
Yeah.
put them on when I'm like I have this. If I have a polo or a button down, I don't wear the glasses. But if I'm like okay, let me make myself look like a professional with just the glasses because I do.
Business casual
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Like, but point is like I've seen people in their interviews, and we do Zoom interviews. So and even then, like, bro, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to drive. You just can literally wear, like, you see a button down and wear like your boxers. I don't care. I'm not gonna look what's down there, right? But look
Business
at
from the waist up.
yeah. But just like at least I think the point here is make the attempt to at least look good, make your resume look good, make yourself look good, then figure out from there. And this is like a way of hacking it, but actually do it though. The real advice is actually do it. But I've noticed that where I was like, I got a decent resume. I'm like, okay, cool, potential. I interview them and they come in with just like they just look not put together, and I'm like,
Mhm.
you are well aware that you have this scheduled uh interview, and you're just not put together. And I'm just like, everyone's going through their own stuff, but I'm not gonna feel bad, and I'm not gonna try to put the pieces back up just because you're not put together. And that's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I genuinely do feel bad for like some people, and I'm like, okay, I hope that you get another job, but it's not gonna be here. Like,
Right.
I don't say that obviously, straightforward,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I had a recent interview with where this person was late to their interview. Uh,
Nope.
yeah,
Like they have to have a
bro.
good reason.
And the thing is, like, I'm like, oh, no worries, like, I hope everything is good. And then usually they're like, yeah, this happened, right? Nothing. And I'm like, if you're doing this already in an interview, hell no, I can't even wait. I don't even want to know what you do when you're hired.
Dude, right?
This is how I
Like
know, like, these things. I'm like, you pick up on these things.
yeah.
Like, so things like that where, like, you know, I feel like I've gotten, like, dude, ask questions. People that, well, let me rephrase this, because I like to get asked questions because it shows me that you're like, okay, you actually did your homework. Some people are like, oh, I looked at your website, I did my homework, and I'm like, dude, I mean, inside I'm like, bro, my corporate self is like, bro, I love that shit. And,
Mhm.
and then there's other people that just don't ask any questions. And, like, if you want to, like, rizz up your potential person that's, like, interviewing, and they're a good company, and they're actually, like, genuine about the people that they find, and they want, like, good environment workers, they will like for you to ask these questions where, like, they're like, is there, like, anything else is expected from me for this job? Like, could I have any other expectations? Or just asking, like, the smaller things, like, is there, a perfect one is like, do you have any questions for me? And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, okay. Because usually I don't, like, I usually kind of just go over, like, the job, like, title, like, of things, like, what you're gonna do and stuff like that. I usually ask them, like, do you have any questions based on what I've gone through so far? And usually they ask the questions, but, like, then they just, like, hit that like the Uno reverse, and I'm like, oh shit, okay. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? Like, like, then I ask, certain blah blah blah. But the main point is, like I said, like, I think making your resume, it making your resume approachable, and, like, something that, like, people would like to see, because some resumes just look really bad. So
Yeah.
I've seen a resume where there was literally, like, three little sections where it was uh like Microsoft Word, like, they had, like, one job and stuff like that, and I'm like, damn, like, you could at least made that look a little bit more presentable, but you didn't. And it's like
What do you
effort.
consider presentable? Like I dude, when it comes to like a resume, I don't know what the like I've seen so many different formats and stuff. Like this is why I'm like happy in the position I'm at. Like I love what I do. I don't want to have to put together another resume.
No, for sure. That's definitely it's, bro. I fucking hated doing resumes. It's the fact that I can even do it, like, so easy now, and you can go about it so many different ways. And I can tell, like, yo, this guy's a fucking geek, like, which is not bad, but you can tell, like, this guy is a fucking nerd. You can tell based on how he did his stuff. He had, like, a section to the side. It's like, I forget what it was, like, experiences and like things that he's done, and then, like, the other section, like, perfectly
Yeah.
like like OCD type of shit where, like, it was perfectly aligned and
Like
everything like that.
formatted,
Yeah, yeah.
immaculate.
It's like, bro, I'm like, it's like we're talking about, like, tech stuff. Even I was like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, oh, you're overqualified. Even, okay, so Overqualified, I don't want to do too, because then they come with
Ooh. Okay,
like
talk to me about overqualified, because I hate hearing that.
yeah. It's so, think about it this way, right? Like, think about like you put out a job title, a job opening for a just data entry, right? And then this person has a master's, but a master's in something like, and I'm sorry to say this to some people that have this degree, and I hope that I don't offend anybody, but there is some degrees that I feel like do nothing for you in life.
Masters in communication.
I would love to get someone that communicates with me.
I know. It's always those people that can't fucking hold a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So like, for example, this person, like I was just mentioning to you, like you can tell like they have like experience like doing these programs in like in the IT world, or like just in the programming world. And I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, I'm like, dude. And okay, so this is why I do not hire overqualified people. Overqualified people tend to jump around. I want people that want to stay.
Oh, jump around jobs.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I was like,
They have
jump around in terms of like movement of things they do at the job.
No. But I mean, like, I think that's what I. Oh, and that's another thing too. This is what I do too. And if I see someone's overqualified, I'm like, bro, this resume, it looks like he can be in IT. Grab the resume, send it to the IT department, and be like, hey, can you use this person? Other people, okay, I'm not.
Yeah,
trying to,
other
like,
people don't do that
no,
at all.
They don't.
Yeah.
They just like, fup. And I'm like, and I do this too. Digital marketing. That's another one too. And I'm like, oh, this person would be good for my department. I like her resume. I'm like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, let me not be selfish. And I write to the digital marketing team, like, hey, do you guys need an opening? Like, I see this person like that just sent a resume for this, but I feel like they'd be a better fit for your department. And they're like, oh, unfortunately, I don't have any opening. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hire her for my place then. I tried, did my part.
Right.
But like, bro, I thought about this the other day, and I'm like, bro, I feel like in the past, and I feel like still no one does this except for me, where I see a resume and I'm like, okay, they can potentially be better in this department or help out this department more, whatever.
Yeah, but that's a sign of just like I consider you like a good business leader, not necessarily because of like you have 20 years of experience, but like just because of how like you treat and you think about the business, like you think about how you present yourself and how you like approach people in general. It's like, why wouldn't you want to help somebody? That's never the baseline for people, like you say. They just like, nope, not for me. Toss it down the line. They are not thinking about how can this help everybody around me.
Yeah, and I think that's growth in a business. Now that you're starting up your business, it's a good indication that you're seeing the bigger picture and not just what's in front of you, right?
Yeah.
It's because if you're literally just seeing what's in front of you, then you're just gonna like. I just feel like you just miss so much doing this, and I really enjoy. Even like if they tell me no, even if they don't like it, or even if they get annoyed that I'm asking, like, hey, do you need this? At least I know I did my part, and I'll be like, okay, I can at least say like I did this, in case somebody like forever like they ask me the questions that you're asking, and it leads up to this. Going back to the overqualified thing, I think that is the main thing, and a lot of people don't realize this. He's like, why would you not hire somebody that's overqualified?
Yeah, that would be my first thing. It's just like, done.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, either A, they're not gonna be happy with the pay that they're gonna get for that position, because again, data entry with somebody that's overqualified.
Does it at least warrant a follow-up for you? Like, at least, hey, you are overqualified for this. I just want to know why you're applying. Like, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I just want to know where your head's at.
Right. So I never, because this actually happened fairly recent within this month, that specific scenario.
Yeah.
But the reason why I feel like, and it's not something that I have set in stone, where I'm like, I do it because of this, but I'm thinking usually people would get annoyed. Like, I feel like people would get annoyed and be like, like, what was the point of the interview if you're not even like trying to like hire me at all? And they'll be like, you're wasting my time and thing. And like, that's the only thing that I'm like thinking that potentially would like kind of stray me away from potentially just doing it just to find out why. I would love to just know why the like you're doing that, especially with, like if an overqualified person. And that's another red flag, right? If you think about it, and it literally just clicked to me, and I'm like, well, why are you doing a data entry when you have all these good qualifications? Then that makes me think, and this is the overthinking part of me, that makes me think, do people like, is it personality that these people like do not want him in the company, like they keep jumping
Right.
around? I don't remember exactly the time frame of like if he was currently employed or not, but it makes me think, I'm like, if you're going down below what you are capable of or what your experience shows, it makes me think that people just don't want you because of personality potentially.
I'm like, the see, that's interesting how your like the difference in our headspaces thinking about this like singular issue
Hmm.
of overqualification. My headspace goes to maybe they were laid off and they are like desperate. And
Right.
I'm like, that is the type of person that it's like, look, I can't pay you what you had before, but like, if you're good at this job, like, come over here and kill it if you're willing to accept my pay and like we mesh well in the interview. Like, that's my thought process.
Right. And I think that plays a huge part back to the resume, right? Telling you the timeline of their jobs. So if they currently shows current in their
Oh,
job,
okay. Yeah.
right? Because I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I almost feel like it did say current. It makes me think either just jumping around, or they just got tired of that job and just want something like more chill, whatever the case may be. And that's the thing. And if it says like, I've
See,
gotten a
even that, I go, there's no time to look like for another job, like when you have one, you know? Like, so, like, even that, I try to put like the rose colored glasses on it.
Yeah, yeah, because like there's another one too where like in the timeline of the jobs, I think one of them said 2024, and I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a chance. I interviewed, and I'm like, hey, if you don't mind me asking, like, when was the last time you had like, I see that you had like job in 2024. Do you mind me asking if you've been doing side jobs in the meantime, just for
Yeah,
like the purpose of the interview, because it's valid.
of course, right.
There's right,
Like,
and
what
then
have you been doing since 2024? Let me know.
right. And they're like, yeah, I just been doing some side jobs, studying a little bit and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I don't mind this. I can work with this, right?
Right.
Versus somebody that's just like, you can tell, like, I had one like recently where like, it's just, you can tell like they have so much going on that I feel like they're going to always call off, and I'm like, okay. Like one time they're like saying like, I have a lot of like doctor appointments, and I'm like, okay, that's understandable. This job requires a lot of driving. In my head, I'm like, it's not gonna be for you. You have too many
Right.
doctor's appointments. Unfortunately,
Right.
I would love to hire you, and it's nothing against you, but like, you need a job that's just more local than me telling you like, hey, go drive 2-3 hours, and then
Yeah,
you have to
like the
come back.
travel alone is just not conducive for
Yeah,
like the job description is not gonna help you.
and it's funny. Like, this is like the thing is like, people with like appointments and stuff like that, knowing that the job description says traveling to different cities throughout Florida.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, I'll give you a chance. I did not know this, and that's why like I always ask these important questions. Do you have any commitments? Like that's like the first or the second question, depending on the position that I'm doing. Do you have any commitments that we need to know about before we continue? Whether it's like kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're a single parent. I had that one recently. School. Are you just doing night classes? Can you do both of them? Like, are you sure you're up for it? Um, and then we give it a chance if it's like school and stuff like that. Like, but there's times where people like, bro, I got finesse, I think so far one time, and I'm like, okay, now I
How'd they
gotta be
do
able
it?
to. They told me like, yeah, and that's what I say, fake it till you make it. Like, they said like, yeah, I can do it, and then like months down the road, it's like, yeah, so like this is gonna be an issue, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
bro, I've mentioned this shit. Like, I'm like, you said you can do it. Like,
And I didn't say shit, bro.
yeah, but like, and then that's what I'm saying. This person was actually like good at what they do. It's just that they needed to
Yeah.
be like more local. So I'm like, we'll work with you because I like how you work. And
Right.
that's what I'm saying. and it sometimes pays out because I'm like, I would have never said yes to this person,
Right.
but
Had they just been truthful.
yeah, had they been truthful, I'd be like, okay, maybe this is not gonna work out. Like, this person was actually overqualified. Actually,
Okay.
this actually now that I'm looking back, this person was actually overqualified. Had their own podcast, which I don't remember the name of the podcast, but
Did you
I gave
listen
it
to
a
it?
chance. No, because I don't. I just saw that. I don't actually. I might have to go look to see if it's a thing. But very well spoken person. But I was like, okay, this is overqualified. But I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a go. I think we can try it. Maybe like you said, they're desperate and whatever the case
Yeah.
may be. So they took the job, and it ended up working out. But most of the time, like I would say, 7 out of 10 times, I don't do overqualified people because depending on the resume, how it looks, and that goes back to reading the resume, being able to tell if this person is like a prick at their other jobs and why people don't want them. And
How do
bro,
you deal with assholes at your job? A real talk. Like, I know for a fact our listeners deal with this on the daily. This is the most common fucking issue
bro,
with the workplace.
dealing with like assholes at work in the corporate world is, dude, you have to have fucking
Cause I
patience.
work in like the industrial, like manufacturer side. So like you're white collar, I'm blue collar. You feel me?
Yeah. Feel me.
Feel me? So
No,
how do
bro,
you
like,
deal with there? Because I can tell you how we deal with it is very different.
so like, okay, so you're talking about like coworkers or like clients?
Coworkers.
Okay.
No,
Cowork.
coworkers, because clients, that it's like the customer's always right.
Yeah, dude, I gotta be like on my A game when I gotta deal with clients. Okay, coworkers. Dude, honestly, like I've been fortunate enough since I've like came up into my position where I haven't been necessarily dealing with asshole type of people, but I think
Talk
maybe there
about
was
your
once.
early years, getting started grinding it out at Taco Bell,
It's on KFC.
KFC. Oh, that's right. That was KFC.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I missed that the food there because I did get free food for lunch and every time. But
Yeah.
uh, just in general, bro. Like I mean, like I have to, unfortunately, as management, I can't lash out even if they're in the wrong as much as I would love to. Because like before then, I'd be like, yo, like, F you, like, fuck you, like,
Yo,
like,
see me outside, cuz.
yeah, for real. It's like, yo, you want to settle this outside?
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, currently, with my position, like, I have to handle it in a way that I don't know if you've ever seen these videos, but there's ways to say certain things in the corporate world, like where like if you want to see, like you say, like catch me outside, how about that, like type of shit, like,
Yeah.
or like they say it in a different, I don't remember like the translation of like the corporate way of doing it, but there's funny things where like if you want to say this, you can say it like this, and like in order for it to be like to like make them feel a little bit dumb in terms of what they say. And there's this rule of thumb that I've learned that whenever someone like gives me like a comment or a something where it kind of like they're trying to put me down,
hmm
I pause, I think, for like 5 seconds and let like an awkward silence. And then I start like talking, it depending like what it is. And I think there was one time where someone said like, "Oh, you're doing it, you're doing it wrong," or something like that. Or like, "That's not how you're supposed to do it." And then a lot of people so would like react to like in a negative way. They like go off on somebody or them or whatever the case may be. So I tried to like uno reverse it, and I'm like, okay, why don't you show me?
Right. Yeah.
And dude, like, and a lot of times they're like, oh, I mean, you got this, and I'm like, okay, exactly. I'm like, don't say shit, like you don't come
Yeah.
at me. But in terms of like, some people do think that they oh, bro, I had this one time where like someone admitted that they use AI for like a potential like reason of getting a raise, and like they like, I guess like,
Like they're like, I'm efficient at AI.
no, they're like saying like they I guess like, how we ask questions to AI like, oh, how
Oh
would we
yeah.
so like something like, how would I handle my like a way of like getting a raise in my job, and then like you give like all these things, and they like write something. This is how you should go about it, and that's how this person.
Blackmail the boss, burn their house down.
Exactly, exactly. Imagine. Uh, but no, yeah, I get the craziest things where like someone actually admitted that they use AI to like try to uh get a raise. And I know that like a lot of people use AI now for like so many different scenarios at work. Um, and when one thing was like one I had recently was like where they tried to come at me for their numbers being wrong, and I had to hold I had to hold it together, because if I did not, like I feel like I probably would have gone off.
Yeah.
But essentially what I had to do is like I had to show this person step by step, like why their numbers are what they're at. And then later on, because they came in hot, like, I gotta talk to you. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, come in, sit down. And then they're like, yeah, so my numbers are off, and I've been submitting it, like just kind of like all the stuff. And bro, I'm like, first of all, I can tell your tone of voice, and you're trying to come at me like I'm wrong. And I'm like, one time I had to say it to somebody. I'm like, we're gonna need to like relax for a little bit, and then kind of like take a breather,
Yeah.
because this is going south real quick. And I don't like the moment you start
Dude,
yelling at
tone
me.
is so crucial in those
No,
things, man.
it is. And I'm like, I just don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. Like, do you not care, like, for your job if you just come at me like that? If even if you're in the right, like, why go in that tone of voice? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Um, but in the other times, like before, like in management, if I had to like deal with pricks, like, or assholes, bro, I think like I would kind of go back and forth. Like, I think I had one time where like I had to like get called up like in a meeting, because but like I don't remember, this is like 10 years ago, where me and this person like went at it. Like, it wasn't anything bad. Like, it was like just kind of like no yelling or anything like that, but like there was a huge disagreement, and because of quote, like you said, assholes.
Yeah.
And I would not stay quiet, because like I'm like, no, you're in the wrong and stuff like that. So I would like go off. I would be like, yo, catch me outside about that type of shit. But now I can't do that, because I'm
Yeah.
like, I would get in trouble at this point. But like, what about you? Like, how do you handle that?
I mean, so working in like manufacturing, it's like, for one, like we use a lot more rougher language,
Oh, okay.
and I think that that helps a lot because we can actually tell you like you're fucking up.
Uh,
Like literally, like you're fucking up right now, like don't do
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Okay.
and but most of the time it's like you have to, it's really, it falls under like leadership to set the precedent, right? So it's like it's up to you to establish like this is the culture tone that I have accepted at my workplace, right?
Mm.
So it's like one of the things is like the culture and like my interactions with like my coworkers, like the bad ones have left and the good ones have stayed, and it's like my point that what I do is um when I listen to when there's a new coworker coming in, one of the first things that I tell them is just like, it's okay to like complain and like vent about your job, but like
Mhm.
if you're letting it get to you, don't. Like that's when like we need to have a conversation about it, because like I'm not going to let somebody just be like Mr. Negative all the
Oh,
time.
hell
Like
no.
I'm done with that, right?
Mhm.
So it's just that's so you can deal with it a little more blunt and
Yeah.
just be like, yo, if you complaining and bitching and moaning, cut that shit out. Dead that. We're not doing
Yeah.
that here. you know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, I feel like it's a little bit more, man. Like, the things you gotta do as management, you gotta like suck up a lot of stuff, but like it almost feels like it helps you in the long term as a person, and it's like I feel like it helps me grow as a person personally.
Yeah. I will say this, just from like, because you're like in the manager role, I'm still in sort of like the grunt, like, and everything. I will say, like, I can sympathize with like the person coming in hot. Like, there's been like I get angry when I think that there's like an injustice at the job, especially like if it has to do like around pay and everything. So it's like
Yeah, yeah.
I recognize that it's like I could come in hot too. One of the things that is just like even that I still work on is learning to just like one of the things that I do is just like let the person I'm talking to know up front, hey, this is like I'm about to talk to you about something that I'm upset about. It's not directed at you. So like if it's getting like elevated, just let me know. I'm not wanting you to feel attacked. I just know I could get heated. So I kind of set the tone like that. So it's like when they hear me like, this is bullshit, like doing this, they're knowing that I'm not like directing it at them, I just need to vent and let it out a little bit. But there is a difference though when it's like someone is clearly wrong and it's like you as the manager though, like are walking this fine dance of sometimes you do need to like lay down the law, but other times I think like there's times where it's like I vented and I was completely wrong. It's like those are the humbling moments, but it's like I'm really thankful that I had a manager that handled that with grace and just said, "Hey, I understand that that's frustrating." Like what you did, like he broke down the math. I know, and it's just one of those like they validate like your concern, but they also say like it's not what it appears, but they're willing to work with you to show their side of things and try to diffuse it versus like come at me with the same energy I came at them with, which is the natural, reaction.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge thing that you're saying there, because a lot of times, like you said, a lot of people tend to be like matching the energy. But I think in the management world, you kind of have to lead by example and lead them into what they need to see. And like if someone is coming in hot and like you said, like they just see red, like you got to be able to tame them to be like, okay, I understand where you're coming. And actually, it's funny. I've done that before. I'm like, I understand where you're coming from and how you got to that point, but let me break down this for you and like how like it actually goes or something along those lines. But just like essentially explaining to them how it actually is, because like I get it, like how like they see it from that point of view, but maybe they just lost a what's it called? They just like misunderstood something, and that's why I'm like, okay, let me steer you back into the right path.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the difference between a good leader and a bad leader, because a bad leader would like go off on you. It's like, no, like this is how you're supposed to do it. Like, and I'm like, no, like you gotta just understand that you're dealing with somebody that's angry, and whether it's right or not, you gotta just talk to them calmly, because talking to them in the same energy is just gonna make things worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So
I saw this or peel back the curtain a little bit, and maybe it's not true in your case, but you know this to be the case in others, or maybe it's just complete bullshit. From like my perspective as somebody in like the lower tier totem pole, like I'm not a manager, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But like I fundamentally do not believe that like the like leadership team at some of the companies I had worked for before actually do the crazy work that they say they do. Like when they're like, we're grinding like 12, 14-hour days. I'm like, you're sitting in a chair, fam. Like you're on a conference call. Like that's not work, quote unquote. Like to me, like I'm on my feet, I'm lifting, I'm like physical exertion. It's a different thing. I still use my mind and stuff, but I'm like, I don't consider like mental work as much of a grind. So when I hear somebody saying like, I started this business and I was like, grinding for like 14 hours a day. I'm like, you're on your laptop sitting down doing spreadsheets. Like you're comfy, but nowadays you're automating a lot of that away, or from my perspective saying that okay, that was a bad example from starting a business. That was a
Yeah.
horrible example. In like a current business, somebody who's established, I don't see them doing nearly any of the same amount of work as anybody else.
For the most part, that's true. I would say. I've noticed that throughout like any companies. For me, for example, definitely not the case. I feel like I want to work towards that uh I guess point where I don't do a lot of work that I'm doing now, but everything is running smoothly. There's a difference I feel like that a lot of people have a misconception where if a boss is not doing much work, but the company's running smoothly, no problems, nothing, that means that they put all the work to get to that point versus like other people that are like not like their company has like a lot of issues, like the work environment sucks, and their boss is constantly on vacation
Mhm.
or they're barely in the office or whatever the case may be, where like it doesn't seem like that, that means that like that's a horrible leader, where you can see that. Like I feel like for me, like I can see that, but like for me, like I can say as management, I do more than other like management people that I've known about.
Yeah.
And but it's funny because like it's true, what you're saying is true. Most of the people just don't like.
I'm going to say this addendum to that. Most of those people are older. I'm not talking about our generation because the people like you, I know your work ethic. Like, so it's just like I know how that stands, and I would say that it's just like at least like especially in like my current job, like our they do grind. Like I mean they're busy as hell, you
Yeah,
know. But like at the previous company I was working for, you know, kind of boomer, you know,
yeah.
like president of the company, you know, managers and everything. And it's
CEO.
like the one thing that was sort of like the trend that I would notice is that like they won't do anything but the high performers in like the grunt entry level stuff that's trying to get ahead, like they would be kept in their positions because they're too good at their job. Like,
Nope, that's crazy.
and it's like I don't I want that mentality to sort of like end with our generation taking over. So it's like I'm happy to hear that like you do
Dude.
that. Like, oh, not do that, but like you actually help people. Like you're sending resumes off. I know that you've definitely like promoted people. You know,
Yeah,
like
100%. I'm a very hard believer of, if I see you doing well, I want you to move up, even as much as I you contribute to this department a lot. I'm
mhm.
like, you need to move up. Like I need, like, even like sometimes some people are very like okay with where they're at, but like you kind of have to give them a push. So I'm the type of person that like kind of gives you a little push. Be like, okay, you've been here for like 3 years. Let's try to see if you can do something more, right? um and that's another thing. If I see someone that's doing well, whether I don't have a space for them somewhere else, like I try to make a compensation where like, okay, either a team leader, right, like where any way to move this person up is how it should be. Because yes, this person potentially might stay with you 5-10 years, but or maybe 5 years or whatever the case may be, but they'll eventually leave because they're like, okay, I'm not growing here or whatever
Like
the
a
case.
stagnant. You're not really doing anything for
Or
me.
somebody else offers them a job and you're kind of cooked at that
Yeah.
point. And then you're like, oh, I didn't expect this because I was so comfortable that this person was going to stay with us that I didn't prepare for this. Now you're this person is gone. So like you got to be able to make sure that that's the thing, that another issue where like I always got to make sure that each department that at least I'm directly involved with has a really good team leader or supervisor, and then I follow with them, have meetings with them, making sure that everything is good. But making sure that you have a good team leader or a good supervisor helps you with the whole department as a whole. If you have a bad leader, a bad supervisor, then that everyone's gonna follow that trend. And
Yeah.
I've had that before where like the supervisor is lazy, they don't communicate much, and then that department's just a shit show, it's a mess, and they don't communicate themselves. And I'm like, obviously that makes sense why it's a mess.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, dude, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm like, okay, going back to that, like I definitely think that for me, I believe in having a ladder of being able to move up in a company. If like for example, Matthew, you're like, hey, I kind of want to move up into a more leadership role, they should have something potentially for you. If like you were to come to me and I'm like, let me see, like let's see if we can move you to like a different. If I see that your work is there, we're like, we can do it. A person that is a kind of like a trainer, like the person that trains people, team leader, supervisor. There's also director. There's
Right.
ways. My positions that I did, I made my positions I've had as I
Yeah.
moved up. My positions were never a thing in the company. I made it a thing because of how I operate.
Hmm.
So everything is possible. You just gotta look for it, right?
And with that, we're gonna leave with those inspirational words, because that's what our show's all about: is lifting people up.
Hell yeah!
Come on, nerds, get your money right. All right, thanks again for listening to another week of Talking Trubbish. We'll see you next time. See ya.
See you.